Hi, this is Mike from Dimensional Walking, and today let's look at some Sasquatch sightings, okay? Let's look into maybe three lesser known but credible sightings from North America that have, I'd say, intrigued researchers and challenged uh, skeptics. These cases come from the reputable databases of BFRO, I guess that's Bigfoot Research Organization, and the North American Wood Ape Conservancy. I got that right. And which compile these eyewitnesses accounts vetted by, and then they're vetted by experienced investigators. So I think they're quite credible sightings. So let's start with the first one. This is in Spalding County, Georgia, and it actually was quite close to where I used to live in Georgia. But it goes like this: in the early hours of a foggy spring morning, a man was driving along a rural stretch of I-75, and I've driven I-75 many a times, actually in Spalding County. Um, this was kind of a startling encounter. According to the report, the witness was a retired firefighter. He was traveling alone when he spotted a large upright figure crossing the highway 100 yards ahead. Now I-75, I don't know if you know anybody that's been in Georgia, but that is probably the biggest highway going. Okay. So typically there would be a lot of traffic there. But I think, let's see, I don't remember exactly what time of the day it was. But anyways, no matter what, except for in the middle of the night or early morning, there was always a lot of traffic there. So it's kind of surprising that nobody else saw it, or maybe they just didn't report it, right? Anyways, the creatures was described as over 7 foot tall, covered in dark matted hair, moving with a smooth, deliberate gait. The witness slowed his vehicle and watched as the figure disappeared into the tree line. He noted that the creature never turned his head, but his posture and the stride was distinctly non-human. Investigators later visited the site and found impressions in the soft roadside soil consistent with large barefoot tracks. No other plausible explanation, such as a bear or a human in costume. So, what makes it compelling about this sighting is the credibility of the witness, the proximity of the encounter. The known area was a dense woods with minimum human traffic at night, so apparently it was at night, making it plausible corridor for wildlife and perhaps something more elusive. So that was that one. Then we got another one. We'll call this one multisensory encounter. And this was a recent one. This was in 2025. Okay. This one is in Claiborne County, Arkansas. Okay. And I've driven through Arkansas before, and the areas I've driven through were really typical kind of Sasquatch Bigfoot territory. Okay. I mean, I many times when I've driven through it several times, but when I've driven through it, I always make that comment in my head, wow, this looks like this could be any minute a Sasquatch could walk out in front of me, or I could see it from the side of the road. But anyways, so this one was this case. There was auditorial, visual, and olfactorial evidence. So this couple was camping near a place called Greer's Lake, Greer's Ferry Lake in Claiborne County, reported a late night encounter with a large bipedal creature. The report was classified as 3A, which I guess means it's has all these different sensory factors. The couple heard deep guttural sounds. This is late at night through echoing through the forest. There was quickly followed by this pungent, musty odor, and then they observed this tall, hairy figure moving between the trees, approximately 50 feet from their campsite. That is pretty dang close, that's for sure. The creature was visible for about 10 seconds, but the witnesses described its size, posture, and movement unmistakable non-human. The next morning, investigators found partial footprints and broken branches in the area where the creature had been seen. What elevates this sighting is the conveyance of what stands out is the combination of the different sensory inputs, the sound, the smell, and the sight. And that is fairly rare in Sasquatch sightings. Usually you may get one, maybe two, but all three of them are pretty rare. I mean, I've heard people that, again, have had all three of them. I mean, but, you may have here, maybe that's 1 in 20 or 1 in 30. So the vocalization was unlikely any known animal in the region. The odor matched descriptions from other Sasquatch encounters across North America. The presence of physical evidence, even though it was limited, added weight to the account, of course. So then we will talk about one in Meade County in South Dakota. And this was also in 2025, and this was a roadside encounter. So, in a remote stretch of Meade County, a woman driving home from a late shift, she had a close encounter with a creature she initially mistook for a man in a fur coat. As her headlights illuminated the figure, she realized it was something entirely different. So, here are some of the details. The creature was walking upright along the shoulder of the road. It had broad shoulders, long arms, and a cone head. So, cone. I have to. I'm sorry. I had to just pause and smile. Cone head. Anyways, its eyes reflected this reddish glow in the headlights. The witness slowed down and passed within 30 feet of the creature. She discovered a feeling of a sudden wave of fear and awe, as if the creature was aware of her presence but uninterested. Uh, Investigators later confirmed that the area was sparsely populated and bordered by dense pine forests, ideal for terrain for elusive species. The sighting is notable for its clarity and proximity. The witness was a trained nurse with no history of paranormal interest at all. So this was probably pretty much a complete shock to her. And her account was consistent across multi interviews. The red eye shine, often reported in Sasquatch sightings, suggests a reflective layer in the eyes similar to nocturnal animals, a detail that adds biological plausibility. So, while mainstream media tends to focus on the famous case like the Patterson Gimlet film, their lesser known sightings are often something arguably more valuable. Now, let's not throw the Patterson film out the window, okay? Let me just stop for a moment here and just talk about the Patterson film. So, anyways, let me get my close-up photo, okay? See if I can get it in here so you can kind of see it a little bit. I got some reflection here. Sorry about that. Let's see what we got here. Okay, maybe you can see it right there a little bit better. How about that? Okay, so here, this is a fairly large blown up picture of the Patterson film. It's a frame of the face. And this was given to me by Kiwani Lapsaritis, who I think is one of the gurus of Sasquatch. Uh, and anyway, so he gave me this, and he got this directly. I am told he got this directly from Gimlin himself. So, anyways, one of the things I just want to show you, and I apologize. I wouldn't have all this reflection. I thought this was going to be easier to do. Anyways, that this is in the 60s. I believe it was in the 60s. So, keep that in mind because the simple thing is I think this is the real McCoy. I really, really do. I know there'll be 1,000 people saying it wasn't, it was debunked and all that stuff, but you got to take a look at it close up. It's quite amazing. It's got wrinkles. It's got these eyes that are just piercing. I just don't see anybody with some type of a suit on or anything. There's no way. This is real. That's the only thing I can tell you. If you can see this, and I apologize. I know you can't see it good with this, but that's just the way it is. If I can find another way to get it presented to you, I will. But anyways, the lips are amazing. The wrinkles are amazing. Everything's amazing. Yeah, if this was maybe today, I'd say, yeah, it could be a fake, but this was back, Jesus, 40 some years ago, or more than that. Jesus, 60s, 40s, 60 years ago. There's no way. Anyways, I think this is the real McCoy. So, anyways, I just wanted to show you this, and I'll move on with the rest of my presentation. Okay, thanks. Anyways, so these lesser known sightings offer some arguably or maybe of more value. Credible witnesses, constant details, and this physical context. They're not sensational. They're quietly compelling. Okay. So each case, there was a trained or reliable observer, remote or forested areas with ecological plausibility, follow-up investigation that ruled out conventional explanations. The sightings also share common traits found in thousands of other reports, such as the height being of the Sasquatch being 7 to 9 feet, air covering the body with no visible clothing, no non-human gait and posture, eye shine, vocalization, strong odor. By the way, on this particular picture, and I'm not going to try to get it up again, the eyes looked a little red actually, and the eyes are just piercing. They really are when you get a picture this close up. You just cannot believe the eyes. So, such consistency across geography and time suggests that witnesses are describing a real phenomena, whether it's an undiscovered primate or relic hominid, or something more mysterious. Sasquatch remains one of America's most enduring mysteries. So these three sightings, which I consider to be quiet, credible, and largely unknown, remind us that truth may not lie in the dynamic footage or a viral story, but it is in the quiet testimony of ordinary people who saw something extraordinary. So keep that in mind. Hope you enjoy. We'll see you next time. Happy trails. Bye bye.